If you are in that cruise life at all, you know that one thing you got to take care of is your money. You got to have money to cruise. You got to have money to book cruise, to travel to cruise ports, to execute on that cruise life. It takes a little coin. It's why we're working every day. Well, let me tell you, money almost ruined my last cruise. A bank error almost ruined my last cruise, and it left me questioning, was I financially profiled? I got a story for you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Tony with Lido Loca. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're into cruising, consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of our daily uploads. Well, here's the story. It is the Monday before Thanksgiving. It is the Monday before my cruise on Saturday, and Jenny comes home. My lovely wife, Jenny, comes home with a paper check. Now, we got some things going on in our life, and we're getting some payments. And on this particular day, Jenny brought home a check, and she said, can you take it to the bank? Can you make a deposit? Makes good sense. We're not going to be home for a while. You don't want checks laying around. We got money in the bank. We've got our cruise is already paid for. We've got things in place. We're ready to go cruising. We just paid the bills on Friday. Everything's hunky-dory from a financial perspective. So why not? Let's go drop this check off so it's not sitting around the house. Simple. I've made thousands of deposits. Now, I haven't gone to the bank in a while. Most of the payments I get are digital, so I don't have a deposit slip. But no worries. I've gone to the same bank for years here in Charlotte. I go in, they got the deposit slips out on the counter, fill it out, drop the check off. At least that's what I thought. I make it to the bank. I hit the lobby. They don't have the deposit slips in the lobby. I say, hey, where's the deposit slips? And I hear a voice from beside the tellers in an office. Come here, I'll help you out. I'm like, okay, personalized service. I like it. Sounds good. What would you like to do there, sir? I've got this check. I just want to deposit it. Now, to be fair, this is a paper, handwritten check made out to my wife. Jenny and I have a joint checking account. Jenny has endorsed the check. I have countersigned the check under Jenny's signature, and I have included our account number. She's excited. She keys in the account number. She swipes the check through the check swiper, and she stares at the screen for a second. And she says, oh, with a check this size, I thought there would be a hold on the check. Now, this check is larger than our normal average daily balance. And she looks at the screen. She makes that comment. And then all of a sudden, she just yells out, hey, I've got a check here that I feel like there should have been a hold put on it by the computer, but the computer did not put a hold on it. Do you think that something's wrong with the computer? I don't know who she's talking to. I mean, she's just yelling that in the room. And you hear from the other office, if the customer has a history with the bank, who knows? The computer's not broken. If the computer accepted the check, the computer accepted the check. But you can put a manual hold on it if you want. So she thinks about that piece of information for a second, and then she starts to ask me questions. How long have you been a customer with the bank? I don't know. I feel like early 2000s. She looks up the account. Sure enough, 2005. I've been a customer with this bank for 14 years. I've deposited thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in 14 years with this bank. I've transacted many transactions. So she says, where exactly did you get this check? It seems a little personal, but I just want to get out of there. I've gone to the bank many times. You give them a deposit slip, you give them the check, and you go on your merry way. I said, well, my wife, we got some things changing. This is part of that. And, she said, well, I see that it's drawn on the bank next door. Did you just come from the bank next door? No, my wife brought this check home. I explained the whole thing again. Well, what's your bank balance? I don't know the exact number. It's a few $1,000s. I got some things pending. Okay, so she looks that up. I got on shorts. I got on T-shirt. I look like this. I don't know. So she asked me a series of questions, and then she goes, you know what? I think I need to put a manual hold on this check. It's fine. I've paid my bills. I've got The bills, I can see them that I paid on Friday. It's Monday. They're in their pending status. I still have several $1,000s of a bank balance. She's going to put this check in and put the whole thing on hold. I won't have any access to the money for a couple days. I don't care. I didn't need it. The whole point was just to put the check in the bank. And I said, that's cool. So she puts the hold on it. She goes to print out a receipt, the deposit receipt, so that I could see that this check was actually in the bank, which seemed important after this 10-minute exchange. And it's blank. The printer ran, but it's blank. She's like, oh, nobody uses this office. Sorry, the receipt is blank. And then there was a pause, and I had to say, well, I would like a receipt. This may have been a mistake on my part, but after this exchange, I'm like, could I just get a receipt? Okay, well, she yells out again, hey, this printer's not working. I'm sorry, I don't work here. I came from somewhere else. I don't know how to get the printer working. So finally somebody comes in. They get a printer hooked up for her, and she's, trying to print out a reprint of the receipt. Oh, I can't do it. Hey, I can't reprint this receipt. Somebody comes back. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to redo the hold. And then she's like, okay, so I'm going to take off this hold. Then I'm going to put on another hold. Then I'm going to give you a receipt. Look, I get frustrated when something simple is complicated, but life is hard and people struggle and I struggle. And so I try to extend the grace that I hope somebody would extend to me in a moment. So I'm staying chill and I'm like, this will be over soon, Tony. You just got to get your receipt so that, if anything does go crazy, you can prove that you made this deposit. So she goes through the whole other process. Finally, I get a printout that shows I made a deposit. It also shows that part of the check is going to be held until the next day, and then part of it's going to be held till a week later. And she's like, I'm like, this is cool. I just want the deposit. So I got that. It took about 20 minutes. But on the way home, I started to feel a little bad. I started to feel a little, I didn't know what really had happened. So she swiped the check originally, and because of my history with that bank, the computer did not flag it for an automatic hold. It just went into my account. And then the series of questions that we had together, I don't know if I didn't answer them right, if I didn't look right. I don't know what it was, but somehow she made a determination to put the hold on the funds. Again, I didn't need the funds to be immediately available. It didn't bother me that the funds were on hold, but the exchange kind of bothered me. Again, questionable, right? Handwritten check. 2 people, countersigned, all that kind of thing. But again, I'm a long-time customer. It's fine. She made the hold. So I go home. I tell Jenny, she's like, why you been gone so long? This is the deal. But the money's in the bank. I can see the deposit. I can see the hold on the deposit. All's good, I think. So that's Monday. We're going on a cruise on Saturday. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. We're leaving on Wednesday. We're renting a car. We're renting hotels. We have a shipboard account that we have to pay for. But again, plenty of money to do that regardless of this deposit. So I wake up on Tuesday morning and my account is overdrawn significantly. Like thousands of dollars overdrawn. So I had thousands of dollars on Monday to fund my vacation. But on Tuesday, when I woke up, thousands of dollars overdrawn. So what happened is somehow when she removed the first one, she didn't actually remove the first hold. And so now I have a double hold. So I had 2 holds so I had 1 deposit for the amount of the check that I dropped off, but 2 holds for twice the amount of the check that I put in the bank. Double. So now my account is overdrawn. So I call the customer service. I get up about 5 o'clock. So I called the customer service when they opened at 6. And they're like, oh, yes, there are too many holds on your account based on the deposit that you made. They've double held the money. And now you're in the negative. I can see that. I can't do anything about it. Okay, so you can see that. You can see that that's an error, but you can't do anything about it. No, because it happened at the branch. Because you went in and you made a deposit, they have to fix it at 9 o'clock. So that's 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock where I'm a little frustrated because I've got thousands of dollars in the negative. I call the branch at 9 o'clock And pretty quickly they say, oh yeah, look, we've double held the money. I've taken one of the holds off, and now you're back to where you were yesterday with this new deposit and that amount on hold. Everything's good. And I was like, okay, fine. 20 minutes on Monday, 4 hours of stress on Tuesday, but everything's fine. So I thought. Fast forward to Wednesday. I wake up on Wednesday, and I find that, so again, I paid bills on Friday. I used my checking account to pay bills. I have bills in a pending status on Monday. So I had, $1,000, $2,000 in pending. I still had a few $1,000s of available balance. And then Tuesday, because of this double hold, now I'm way overdrawn for no reason of my own. And then Wednesday comes, and 5 of my pending payments have been returned. So what I didn't think to ask on Tuesday was, in the moment that I was overdrawn for those few hours, are you sending any payments back? It didn't even cross my mind that kind of thing would happen. But that's what happened. So Wednesday morning I wake up, they've returned my cell phone payment. They've returned my car insurance payment. They've returned my credit card payment. And let me tell you why these 3 things are important. Cell phone's important because we use them every day to work and to travel. And now all of a sudden they've returned my cell phone payment. They returned my car insurance payment. Why this is important is my car insurance provides insurance for the rental car that I'm getting on Wednesday. So potentially, we'll get to that. And then I use a credit card for all my cruises, and I use that credit card throughout the month to buy things so that I can get points. And then I make payments all throughout the month to keep that balance low. And so that previous Friday, I had spent a bunch reserving cars, reserving hotel rooms, and then I just made a big payment. And the cool thing about that credit card company is you make a payment one day, they credit it the next day because you have a good history of the money being good. Now all of a sudden, I'm getting a return payment to that credit card company, and that happened to be the credit card that I use when I go cruising. So I'm sitting there Wednesday, and again, it's before the branch opens. It's like 6 o'clock. And I'm like, they're gonna shut off my cell phone. They're gonna cancel my car insurance, and I'm not gonna be able to use the funds for the cruise that I'd laid aside on the credit card. I was stressed out. Now, again, I had more money in my bank. I could have figured something else out for the credit card part of it. But they cancel your telephone and they cancel your car insurance. That's a big deal. And I don't want any trouble with my credit card. So I wait till 9 o'clock, and I try to get some other work done. We're leaving. We got to leave that day. The goal was to leave like at 9 o'clock. We were supposed to be on the road to Florida at 9 o'clock. I can't even leave until after I go to the bank. So I go to the bank, and I tell you what, the bank manager is stellar. I explain the situation, and he apologizes. He looks at my account. He says, look, we made a mistake, and we're reversing your overdraft fees. And I said, hey, man, I've never been in this situation, but I assume that when these things start getting returned, there could be late fees, and there could be like other fees because these payments came back. And he said, look, we write out letters, and they wrote out a letter to all of these places where payments got returned saying there was a bank error. Please don't charge me any fees. And he said if they do charge you fees, come back. They would take care of it. So the guy was super cool. And immediately he said, we've made an error here. He gave me a letter to all these creditors. But the flip side of that is I said, look, they're not going to know this, right? So I need to contact them all. Yes, I would contact them as soon as possible. So I spent about an hour at the bank while we fixed all this problem, got the money returned, got all these letters prepared in both hard copy, soft copy. And then I went home, and Jenny's like, yay, is it time to go at 10 o'clock? And I'm like, well, no, we actually have to call all these places where payments got returned. So, I had to make sure my insurance was going to be canceled. I had to make sure my phone wasn't going to be turned off. I had to talk to the credit card people because I have a good relationship with them. And it took another hour. So all of that resolved in a positive way. A couple negatives out of it, though. The the relationship I had with the credit card company where I could just make a payment and then the next day it would show up, because that payment got returned, I'm pretty sure that that's changing. I think every payment that I make now will have some sort of hold on it, which will change the way I use that credit card. I kind of use that as a daily driver to accumulate those points and then just pay things as I get charged. And so that's going to change. But I tell you what, I spent 20 minutes on Monday. I spent about 4 hours of stress on Tuesday. And then I spent another 4 or 5 hours stressed out and then actually doing stuff on Wednesday. So for the simple act of just making a deposit, I had about 10 hours worth of hassle. And there was at some point where I was worried that my car insurance was going to be canceled, my phone was going to be canceled, and it was going to affect my cruise. And look, I don't know if financial profiling is a thing. I know that the bank people are trained. Again, it was a situation where I could see some red flags would be raised. Handwritten check, signed by 2 people. But the computer said the check was okay. And if she looked at me and made the determination to hold the check, that's fine. But asking me all those questions and broadcasting that she was trying to decide whether or not to manually hold the check, it's not good bedside manner. This is my one beef in the process. I'm okay with the error. It all worked out. I'm frustrated that it took so much time to work out, but I'm not out any money, all that stuff. I'm just out some time and some frustration. But the lasting thing that really frustrated me was that whole interaction of whether or not I met some sort of visual criteria to hold that check or not. It was frustrating. I feel like I was financially profiled. What do you think? Leave a comment below. You ever had anything crazy like that? Any bank employees out there? Tell me what it looks like from the bank employee side. I would love to hear some conversation. But yes, a bank error almost ruined my cruise. Watch some more videos. This is Tony with Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.